I hope you're good, guys, and welcome for a new video. So today's rack is a little bit special. It's this Ultimate FX rack. So let me explain you a little bit the story behind this rack. Basically, I've got a series of video on my channel. There is 4 videos so far, which is called the rack series. Basically, rack is like a pun with the word rack from Ableton and hack from like computer stuff. And basically, I've created initially this rack to kind of overcome blocks. So let me explain you why I created this rack. Basically, sometimes you find a nice synth sound and you want to add some reverb, but so you go to your favorite preset or your favorite plugin and you feel like it's always sounding the same, it's very hard to get something new and fresh. And one method of that was creating like a bank of, basically it's kind of bank of preset. What I've done here, you see I have different chain with different kind of preset, and for me it was really helpful because usually I bring the reverb from Ableton and I start to tweak, but it's always more or less the same preset that I'm just tweaking a little bit. Rather than here, it was allowing me to kind of get a new fresh ideas and new feelings to the sound. So I've created that as well because for example, when you're creating your presets, sometimes, if you start with something completely raw, it's very hard to come up with something, and it's always good to add a little bit of reverb. And same, it's sometimes if you use different kind of reverb, you will probably shape your sound inside your synthesizer or inside your plugin differently than usual. So that's why I created this kind of rack to kind of put a different reverb than usual. And I've done the same with some EQ. You have different kind of EQ, which has kind of weird EQ, especially for sound design. It's not for mixing at all. It's just like kind of having weird EQ to have give a kind of weird different vibe to your sound. And I've done the same with delay, with different kind of delay, and more recently with distortion, same different kind of distortion. And so basically, once I have this 4, I say, you see, at the beginning of my channel, I've created this rack, which was like the basic effects tool. And basically, the point of this rack was, like I said, to quickly have effect, because if you have a preset and it's super dry, with this rack you could like quickly add some reverb, add some delay, and this rack was allowing me to go quick and fast in the process of creating, or at least to have a base when I was shaping my sound inside my synth. And I kind of come the idea to use this 4 rack because, as you can see, my first rack was distortion, was some reverb and delay and stereo delay. And I say, why don't you take this 4 rack basically and just made one rack on the same principle than the other one with some reverb macro, delay macro, distortion macro, and then EQ. So that's what I've created here. I've called it Ultimate FX Rack because it's like the final of all of the rack series. It's like the boss, like in the video game. And basically this rack, you have distort type, dry wet, delay type, dry wet, reverb type, reverb time, alignment, and get type. So basically what you can do with this rack, I'm gonna bring down all the dry wet, and you have distortion. So you will have the first kind of distortion here from 1 to 10, and then from 11 to 20 you have another kind of distortion. So I really recommend, if you want to do each distortion, each delay, how it's been made, and why, I will put the link at the description of how I've made all of this single rack. But here really the idea behind this rack is really to have something to put and be able to quickly work, and it's kind of having a better workflow because you really work way much more faster. So obviously it's still a rack series, so I always recommend this, to use this when you're blocked, when you don't know, you feel blocked, always, doing the same, always having the same kind of sound. Boof, you bring this and it's allowed you to unblock you. Don't use this all the time on every track because obviously you're gonna get tired of and it's gonna lose all this sense. And plus you will always do the same stuff, and again you're gonna get blocked with this rack, so it's no point to do that. Anyway, so what I was saying, you can change the distortion. If I go at 31, you get another kind of distortion and so on, until I think it's 60, the last one. Now here. Alright, and then I've done the same with delay, so you can add some different kind of delay. Reverb goes the same. So reverb, you got 3 macro. You also get the dry wet amount. You can take your time if you want more something acting like a whole reverb or ambient reverb with a very long tail, or you can go back strand around 600 if you want something more drum, like more like a room, like for the drum. Something very short, something more in the middle for your keys maybe. And then you have the reverb type, and you can change the kind of tone of the reverb. And then you have the EQ type, so which is basically so all of the time on the type macro, it's always from 0 to 10 is the first preset, from 11 to 20 is the second preset, from 21 to 30 is the third preset, and so on. So that's So as you can see, the EQ type is kind of really changing the kind of sound, the type of sound you got. That's worked really well with pads. So let me explain you a little bit quick inside. So I've kind of transformed all of the rack to be able to have like just 2 macros. So basically what I've done is still the same than the original one. So if you're not familiar with it, go to check here, like I show you here. You see you have all the preset, different chain. I explained that in the video how it works. If you want to find out more, I will put the link in the description. And what I've done basically, I create this, you can use this chain selector, and I put every preset for every 10, you know, from 0 to 10, 11 to 20. Basically when it's on this blue period, this one is gonna be on, and when it's not on the blue period, it's gonna be off. So like this, I assign this chain selector to the macro, this type, and I can just move like this and switch from one preset to another. And the other thing I've done obviously is like to all of the toggle on off button of each device is applied to this as well, which is it's gonna turn it on when it's on this range and turn it off again when it's not on this range. Like this way you save CPU and you don't have all the same plugin on the same time. If you go in this one now, it's activated. If I go more in this one, if you want to find out more how to do that, go to check the rack series. It's the same principle. You just like change the value like this, and yeah, so that's what I've done. And then basically all the dry wet of all the device are basically assigned to this one single macro. So basically when I'm changing this, you see it's changing this one, but it's changing this one at 35.4. You see they all have the same 35% amount. And then obviously I have assigned these 2 macros to this 2-1. And so yeah, it's a rack inside the rack. And I've done the same for the EQ, for the delay, and for the reverb. Reverb I've done it a bit different because it's nice to always have to be able to control the decay time of the reverb, and having like a room reverb, for example, but with a long decay, which is nice as well. It's good for experiment. So obviously, like I said before, you can on the previous rack series, you can obviously put you on distortion, make you on preset, put supporting plugin preset, all your favorite preset, you can put them here. You can even put more actually, because I stopped here at 6, but you could basically go on and go on. You can even go until 127 if you want, but it would be, I think, a bit too much, but you can still do it. And yeah, what is great with that is it's, for example, in the preset bank I've done, you see I've put the wet preset and the dry preset, which is basically the wet will be something like this one. Oh, let me just deactivate this. So this pad, you see, is like this. And what you can do is actually taking the dry one and dropping it here. So what was the name? Sorry, I don't remember. Flying. So you go there, you take pad, flying, and oh, you bring it here, and now you've got it here, but super dry. And then you can just try something different. And you get something different than the preset one that everyone goes when he buy the brushes. So obviously it's not like I still prefer this one, because this one I select each effect device and I modify them especially for the sound itself. But it can be still a good start to find something you like, and maybe after you can go inside and tweak. You can still tweak everything and make your own. So yeah, that's a way you can use it. And like I said, one of my favorite ways to use it is like, you see, if you just start from zero, from scratch, you know, it's very hard to create something and have something in mind when it's super dry, rather than if you just, let me bring everything down, but if you just add a bit of reverb and the delay, you will straight away come up with something easier, like in the you can see like now the type of reverb. And then when you have this, you can, okay, maybe let's start to shape something a little bit different than usually. And yeah, that's it for now. So that's really a rack I really like, and it's kind of the V2, the version 2 of this one, like the evolution, except that this one is way much more elaborate, I would say. And yeah, this one you have different kind of reverb, different kind of delay. It's kind of multi-effect processor, and that's really powerful and really good, obviously, to overcome sound design block or inspiration block and stuff like that. So the rack obviously will be available for free, link in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe before. And thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you soon. Bye bye.